Got studs versus studs, real studs versus real studs. He's done a good job with that, and he's a guy that talks about winning the Hodge. And if he knows what it's take to win the Hodge, you have to dominate, and that's a goal of his. So it was a goal of his at the very beginning of the year. He goes, "Coach, I'm going for the Hodge this year." You don't get many guys, and he's still in NCAA terms pretty young.
Who do you think has the most individually to gain this weekend?
I don't think there's anybody really. I think there's guys that probably have bigger chips on their shoulder. You look at Younger's weight. I mean, he got in the quarterfinals, you got 2 top 8 guys in the nation hitting with him and Elam. I mean, the top 8 guys in the nation. Elam gets 5th seed, and he's ranked 8th or 7th in the nation. It shows you what's going on there. So I think just for bragging rights, I know he's a competitor and he's excited about that. Look at Terrakina. He's beat some good guys this year, had a couple losses, but he's a 6th seed. So I know those 2 guys right there probably feel a little underappreciated.
For a guy like Younger, spectacular regular season, just in terms of overall development when it comes to folk style. What, if anything, changes for him now in a tournament setting? I know he was at Daktronics earlier this year, but this might be a little bit bigger beast.
I think that we're still in the land of unknown with him. I really do. I think that we're still in the land of unknown with him, and it's a good land because what we've seen this year has been fun. I'll be honest, if I pick up the paper on Sunday morning in Tulsa and he wins the tournament, it's OW, it wouldn't shock me a bit. But if he gets 4th or 5th, it would shock me because the weight's close. But as he puts things together and get together more and more, he will be the elite one. He's going to be the guy down the road that's going to be like that competitiveness and that athleticism that he's got together. He's going to be I'm going to make predictions. He's going to be really good.
Yeah. As a coaching staff, is it hard to kind of balance with the let's focus on the process to get better every day with the excitement of, hey, like this guy's going to be a real hammer down the road?
He has so much room to grow in the practice room yet, and that's where we've seen the growth. And so I'm a coach. When you see growth in the practice room, you see growth in the big arenas, and that's where we've seen growth. And there's so much more growth there. He's just learning how to work hard. He's just learning how to drill with the details it takes to drill those positions instead of just kind of going through them because it's practice.
When it comes to the things that you get to see that we don't, what would you say Isaac Judge and a guy like Joel Devine are doing that we quite aren't seeing out on the mat?
They're just 2 tremendously hard workers. They're probably not the most athletic guys in our team, but they're both just tremendous hard workers, and it's important to them, and they're going to give you everything they've got right now. And their skill set has gotten better. They're never going to be the fastest. They're never going to be the strongest, but somehow they've got themselves both. And Devine's in the top 22 in the nation, and Judge is in the top 30 in the nation. There's a lot of kids in the wrestling world that would trade places with them right now. All right, our bus leaves tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, and we're blessed. We're very healthy right now, and I think we're in great shape, and so it's time to go.
What's the vibe like in the room really over the last couple weeks, just getting ready for this stretch?
I think these guys have had a lot thrown at them, and I'm kind of challenging them right now because everybody out there is saying this is a dual meet team and not a tournament team, and so I'm using that with them quite a bit lately. They went on the road and won 4 tough Big 12 matches, all at 3 places that were really hard places to wrestle and tough environments. So, there's no question these guys are very battled in the dual meet world. And so now we get a chance to go to a tournament, and we have a lot of doubters out there. We have a lot of people that think this just is a dual meet team. And so we're excited to get out there. I think they're excited to get out there and show people that, we might be a little bit more than that.
Is there any better extra motivation than that when somebody says, oh, this is a team built to win dual meets, and it doesn't translate as well to a tournament setting to, get these guys to focus in that one last bit?
Yeah, as you go down the home stretch here, every week, obviously, the stakes are a little bit higher. And so I think right now that, there has to be a selfish mentality, then that we have to just really worry about ourselves. But at the same time, I really see these guys wrestling for each other. And if we do that, we're going to like what happens.
In your experience, what's helped a team that's had a really strong dual meet season follow up with a really strong postseason?
I think just, consistency, and I think that's the one thing that we've seen out of this team all year long is, we might have had different guys step up, but it's been a pretty consistent team, from the time we started really in January and we took off for Wyoming. It's been a really consistent team, and so always just kind of focusing on the one that's in front of you has been really, really good for us this year and not getting ahead of ourselves. So right now we got, I think, 7 guys that don't have a first round match and they'll be in the quarterfinals, and we got 3 guys that do have a first round match. And so I even overheard David Carr in the locker room saying, man, I'm so excited about this weekend, but I just got to look at that first guy. David talks about wrestling in his sleep. So that's the mentality. I think really that's the mentality of our team.
How much does he watch, quote unquote, film, video, whatever? Is he elite in that way, in the same way that he is in terms of results on the mat?
I think he watches a little bit of video, and that's kind of how we coach our guys. Is we watch a little bit of video, but we don't overanalyze it. My philosophy has always been, in the way of coaches, let's worry about what we do. But with that said, it's important to know tendencies and to see maybe this guy's got maybe this trick hold, or he might lead right leg, he might lead left leg. There's tendencies we watch, and I think that's probably how David approaches it. He's a professional. He's gonna go worry about the guy in front of him, and he's thinking specific series is on top. I'm gonna go for this, and I'm gonna go for this. So he's super calculated.
What did you think about the seeds and pairings overall? Have you probably looked over them yet?
I think when you're in a competitive conference, and the Big 12's really getting competitive, I think it's a tough job to do it. And we made a decision as a coaches group, and I think it was a great decision, that we were just out of it. We were staying completely out of it, and we just turned it over to a bunch of wrestling gurus that sit around and do nothing but look at results and stay on Twitter all day long. So the Jason Bryants of the world are seeding our tournament. I think they did a great job. I think there's like 5 of them that the Big 12 actually hired, and I think that's how they need to do the coaches ranking. I think that's the way to do it, and take all the biases and because we got coaches calling us at, before each ranking going, hey, think about my guy here. He just beat so-and-so and so-and-so last weekend. So you're not supposed to politic. And that's what happens when you get the coaches involved. There's biases. I don't like this coach, so I don't care how good his kid is. I'm not going to seed him. Why don't we get a bunch of Jason Bryants and a bunch of Willies and a bunch of guys in there that really, understand the sport, and they're going to put the best guys up front.
Ian was talking about how you like to preach the reset, 0 and 0, and you can see how valuable that is to somebody who maybe had a couple struggles in terms of results, but their habits have been good and they're building. But for a guy like David that's lost 1 match, what does he do? Once you're an elite wrestler, what does it take to stay there, and how does he kind of personify that?
Well, I think David has really proven that he is a professional, and so he goes out there knowing that some guys are going to shut down on him and stall, and he's going to get everybody's best effort, and that's his challenge, and that's how he takes it. And that's how we've coached him is that go show everybody, go show them how the reason you're ranked number 1, instead of, oh my gosh, I got to protect being number 1. Let's go show them why we're number 1. And when he walks off the mat, go, damn, I see why the dude's number 1. He's pretty good, and that's what we try to preach to David.
Is there the mentality too of this is fun, this is enjoyable? Hey, you're number 1, stay number 1 with that enjoyment, and that if it's like, oh gosh, I've got to keep this because this status means something to me, sort of thing.
David, when he says, score points and have fun, he really means it. And so he's always coming up with ways to figure out how to bonus point guys. And I think you've seen it a few times this year where he hasn't achieved a bonus point or got a bonus point for the team. He's disappointed. He feels like he let everybody down. So that's how you get national championships, when you continually try to strive to